Well, today I'm going to make a collage. I'm going to use all these bits and we'll end up with something like these lovely pieces. I'm so going to enjoy making some tags and buttons from these, pages for my sewing journal from these. Join me and see how I made them. So I've got two pieces of paper I want to cover. I picked a cream piece which is fairly thick, but I can use it as a page. And I'm thinking of using this in my sewing journal, so this one I wanted a bit thicker because I'm going to be cutting out circles for artist cards and bits and bobs at ephemera or tags. So that one I shall just do on one side. I'll probably collage on both sides of this one. Now, because this is going to be a page, I'm going to put papers on, but also because I'm thinking of my sewing journal, I'm going to put some fabric on as well. Now, if you use fabric, I've got this piece as well. You've got to remember that it would be quite difficult to cut. So if you were thinking of making tags, I mean, you could cut tags with scissors, but if you were using a punch to make circles, then that would be very difficult. So, but I would like to use some fabric on a page. So I'm just going to tear up some strips ready, and then I've got some PVA glue, but also I'll use a glue stick as well. So I'll get prepared and then I'll come back. Now this piece is going to be a page, and I want it fairly light, sort of beige colours, or with a bit of colour and some of the fabric on there, because I'll build it up when I've got it in the journal. But I'm just going to pop some base bits on first. I'm just using a glue stick at the moment. And just have fun with it. Just place pieces where you think they will complement each other, but if you're going to cut it up, it really doesn't matter. Now, if you hear hammering, my husband's reciting our bird table. Oh, so I can't complain because I've asked him to move it to the other end of the garden. These bits of background papers. I love collaging because you can just lose yourself for a couple of hours. And just create a brand new image, which is lovely. To have that straight piece just under there slightly. I've inked up some of the edges on these pieces. Okay, and I'll tear this little bit off. So I'm going to go ahead and carry on, just placing them lengthways and widthways just across the page. When I've done a bit more, I'll come back before I put the fabric on. So I'm really pleased with how it's coming along. It's going to be a lovely page in the sewing journal. So I'm just going to add the piece of fabric that I have along the top here. So I'm just using some PVA for this piece. And I may have to lift it up a bit and add some more. So just along the edge. Push it up a bit. And then I'm going to stick these pieces around the other side so that there's a little bit on that side for when I collage that side. And I'm going to stick this down here and this bit here. So I'll do that to save you listening to the hammering going on, and then I'll come back when I've stuck those down. Okay, that's that side completed. So I'll go ahead and start on the other side and come back. Well, I'm nearly there on this side. Just got a couple more things to place. And every time you do I mean, if I took all these off, put them on again, they'd be it would look completely different. So you know, there's no right or wrong way with collage. So I want that to be on the edge really. There. These I've just got to stick down a bit. As I say, I'm going to use this in my sewing journal. Now I cut that off the end of the fabric. I thought that ought to go on somewhere. Perhaps there. You may think differently. And I've got this little piece that I'll have to put along there. And if you don't like something that you've put down, you can always go over it with another piece of paper. And I've got this pink fabric that I thought was rather lovely. I'll put that there just to give it a bit of colour. So I'll stick that down And each piece you put down helps to stick the last piece down a bit more. Ooh. Gluing my scissors. And those bits came from the other side. Don't quite know what that machine is, but I thought it looked rather good there. So we've got that, and then on the other side that one. So although we've used similar papers, they've turned out quite differently. And so when it's dry, I'm going to fold that and use it as a page for the journal. So that's, put that to one side. And the next piece I wanted to do was I want to be able to punch these out so that I can use them as ephemera. So again, I'm going to use similar pieces, but I won't use any fabric on this because it'll be rather difficult to cut out, well, unless you use scissors. But I can always add fabric if I say make a tag or something with it. And the thing about collage, going back to this one, I often paint over it as well, to put a bit of colour on it, but because it's going to be a page, I want to leave it like that and then see how to decorate it once it's in the journal. But on previous collages I've done on videos, I've painted them and used stamps and stencils. So it's rather a lovely way to create. Okay, I'm going to carry on. I won't go over these holes because I say I'm just going to use this piece for ephemera. I'll just carry on adding bits and pieces, and then I'll come back and show you how I've got on. So I've covered this one, and as I said, I'm going to use this for ephemera, so I'm going to leave that plain. I may put something on it if I make a tag or a circle or a page tab or something. So I'm going to just do a little bit of stamping on this one. I'm not going to do any painting, but just a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to put some script on. I'm using this light brown. I'm never quite sure how it's going to turn out, but as I say, you can always go over it with some paper. So I'm just going to randomly, and if you think that this is all going to be cut up into different shapes, you'll just get an impression of the stamp. I might put a little bit of a darker one on. Now the dictionary paper I use, I try and be careful not to offend anyone with words that I've used, so I try and cut the start of the word off because it's difficult to go through them all, and so you can't really tell what word it is. Right, I'm going to be quite bold and try. I've got this is a piece of decking wood, and it makes quite a nice stamp. So it's just all about mark making. Okay, that's that one. And I'm just using sort of patterned pieces. I was going to use a leaf stamp, but I don't want anything to look, I want it to look a bit abstract. So I think I've got something over here I can use. I'll just pop and get it. Okay, well, I've just tied some bits of string together and just quickly made a stamp, and this is just going to be just little marks. It's rather messy, but it just shows you that you can make something from nothing really. I'm going to do another video on mark making when I'm using things like twigs and leaves to make stamps with. Now I think that will do, because once we cut them out we can add some marks as well. Right, I'm just going to clear away and then I'll bring them back and show you the finished pieces. So there we are. This one's going to make some lovely tags, and I'm also going to make some buttons, so for the sewing journal. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. So I think I'll do that on another video. But let me see if I can. So if you just take one area of it for a tag, you can see how lovely they'll be, and the buttons. So I'm really pleased with that, and it didn't take long at all. It was very enjoyable. And then this one is going to be for a page or 4 pages in the end. So I'll let that dry, and I'll show you how it looks in the journal. If you enjoyed the video, please press the subscribe button and come back and join us when I'll be making things with these collages. Bye for now.